Batman Returns is a sequel to Batman 89 directed by Tim Burton and once again starring Michael Keaton in the role of Batman, and basically follows two new villains including Penguin played by Danny DeVito and Catwoman played by Michelle Pfeiffer. And essentially, Penguin is quite literally emerging from the sewers during Christmas time when there is a grand tree lighting ceremony, and he is coming up with an evil and devious plan to take control of Gotham City with some rather explosive intent. And Batman, from the beginning, does not buy into any sort of falsities or any ploys to take control that he is trying to come up with, and he is trying to uncover more of the truth about his plan and what he is trying to do as he takes control of Gotham City. So, Catwoman comes into play when she is thrown out of a window by her boss because he finds out a bunch of confidential information that he had hidden for years. And essentially, she gets bitten by a cat and becomes a Catwoman. Pretty straightforward. This film has quite a bit of good going for it, especially being compared to Batman 89. Not only does it have quite a visual beauty to it, Tim Burton is a very visual director. He clearly knows how to give a personality to Gotham City while also giving it a very darkly lovely aesthetic. It looks amazing on screen, and especially if you get the 4K transfer to the movie, it's edited to be even better. But either way, it doesn't take away from Tim Burton's clear, beautiful film vision, and he gives so much to this film aesthetically that I never fail to be immersed in it. And the cast, along with that, is just amazing. Michael Keaton continues to be very good as Batman. He not only pulls off some really great fight sequences and a great demeanor and intimidation as Batman, but he also just manages to be a bit more of a grounded character and even a bit more of a detective as Bruce Wayne, which I absolutely love. I also just adore Danny DeVito as Penguin. He manages to be the perfect balance between pretty dark and just straight up over the top. He has some really great moments of comic relief to where you can still be fully immersed in the dark plot points of the movie and everything they're trying to get across, but you can still laugh at that one moment and really enjoy it. I particularly love the scene where Danny DeVito is just straight up biting someone's nose off, and then as soon as Max Schreck is trying to get him back to a discussion on the mayoral election, he essentially is so focused on this one girl that as Max Schreck is trying to talk to him about this issue, Danny DeVito is just like, I like to feel her voice. Teach her my French flipper trick. And it worked so well. I just loved the full immersion in his character, even when he did just go way over the top. He made his performance work so well, and I loved that. And Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle is honestly amazing. She has the perfect origin story given to her, and just the overall perfect demeanor. She manages to be very seductive and very contained, but also just being a badass at the same time. I also really love the romance between Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle because it is very darkly beautiful. There is quite a conflict between them on the hero end and their moral values conflicting with each other, but they also have such a great romance outside of their hero side to where as you slowly start to see it unravel and how they still don't know each other's identities, yet they still have such an interest in each other that continues to grip. It works so well and plays really well into the plot of the movie. While the action sequences are very few and far in between, there's still quite a bit to love about them when they actually do take place. They are very beautifully coordinated and wonderfully directed by Tim Burton. And as far as the stunts go, they're seamless. And I also love Michael Keaton in the Batman suit, even though he can't turn his head and the suit is pretty obviously rubber as well. It still works, and Michael Keaton manages to do really well with the sequences and pull off the fights really good and make it look good on screen. I overall just love the action and the detective side of the film and how that plays out. Now, this film isn't perfect by any means. There are still some pretty significant issues I have with the film that I also had with Batman 89, including that there is not enough of a focus on Batman compared to how much screen time and how much focus to the story is given to the villains, including Penguin and Catwoman. It feels more like they're trying to develop their origin stories and give them a lot more backstory, but they just don't have enough time to the film to actually give more of a fleshed out story to Bruce Wayne and develop his character to where you can care for him more and appreciate him in the story as much as you should. And I was really disappointed by how lackluster the characters were as a whole. There are some great plot points and some really great elements to the story, but it doesn't hold up as well as it should when there's not being given enough screen time to truly develop the main protagonist that we should be focused on and should be caring about. And while this film is aesthetically pleasing and there is quite a visual grand spectacle given to Gotham City as a whole, I just wish there was more focus on actually developing a really great and unique story and creating something that feels more comic book like and compelling from a Batman standpoint. It's just that there is too much focus on the visual spectacle and creating a really big, crazy Gotham City, and just not enough focus on actually making people care for the characters. And I just wish there was more compactness to what they were actually putting into the screenplay here. I really do love this movie as a whole, even with all its flaws, and I think it's still a very solid and overall well-casted and visually dazzling Batman movie with quite a bit given to the acting. And I just love watching this around Christmas time because it feels like a nice, easy Christmas movie to watch that also has Batman in the mix. And the action scenes can be really great when they occur. I just think this is an overall solid film. It's not perfect by any means. There are many different flaws, like I said, but I would still say that this is a solid one to watch. I do recommend it, especially if you are watching this around Christmas time. I'm going to give Batman Returns a B+. I really didn't think this was bad at all, and I would recommend it if you are interested in the older Batman films. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you in the next one.